Hi there, welcome back to Cloud with Aarya. Today we are going to cover a very important topic that is data collection rule, which is the brain of the new Azure resource monitoring. In this video, I'll explain what DCR is, why Microsoft introduced it, and how it actually works inside Azure Monitor so you can start using it right away. So a data collection rule or a DCR is a configuration in Azure that defines basically three things: what data should be collected, how data should be transformed, and where the data should be sent, right? So the data collection rule works on these three base principles, that is source of the data and the collection, and then sending the data to the destination from where we can set up the alerts or monitoring on the resources. For example, you have a log from a virtual machine. For that, you set up in the DCR and filter only the error logs needs to be sent, then only the error logs will be sent to the destination, right? And for its functionality, let's understand how this works behind the scenes. So first, a resource like a virtual machine or Azure Arc enabled servers or a Kubernetes resource, they generate logs or metrics. Like in the Windows machine, we have Windows event logs or performance metrics, right? That the machine generates. And then to collect the data or the logs, Azure Monitor Agent needs to be installed on the machine. And now for the agent to collect the data, a data collection rule needs to be attached that we create in Azure and defines what we want to collect. And finally, the processed data is sent to the destination like log analytics. So the architecture flow, we will have a resource that will have the Azure Monitor Agent. We'll define what data we want to collect from the machine, and then that data will be sent to the various destination like workspace or storage account, etc. For most monitoring scenarios where you set up alerts like memory, disk space, or we want to monitor the Windows services if they are running or not, or any other logs, we would use Log Analytics Workspace. Data collection rule works together with the Azure Monitor Agent. This agent runs on resources like Azure Virtual Machine, Azure Arc Servers, or Kubernetes Cluster. So don't worry if you're finding it daunting. I'll break it down shortly. So previously, before DCR and the Azure Monitor Agent, we had Microsoft Monitoring Agent or Log Analytic Agent that were installed on the machine and was sending the data to the workspace directly. There was no middleware like the data collection rule. And the complications with this was that we had limited filtering capabilities, no centralized configuration like DCR, even though if we just required one or two data from the virtual machines. And with the data collection rule, we can have a granular level of data collection. So we can create multiple data collection rule, and each data collection rule can have their own unique filter. Like from DCR1, I just need the security events, and the DCR2, I just need the performance metrics, and the DCR some query, right? And I can attach all the virtual machines that needed some specific data instead of attaching all the virtual machines. That was the case with the legacy agent. This granular approach allowed reduced ingestion cost also because now we were just collecting the data what we needed. So this was the reason why Microsoft introduced the new DCR and the Azure Monitor Agent because of these limitations. And now before understanding how we would create and do it, let's see some illustration from Azure. So what the issue with the existing agent was that we had the log analytics workspace and the virtual machine. And earlier how it worked was that we had the rules what we want to collect from the virtual machine directly in the workspace integrated. So suppose if I wanted to collect the performance metrics or the IIS log, right, we would have to configure it directly in the workspace. And the issue with this was if we had multiple virtual machines that also want to collect the data from, whatever rules were applied at the log analytics workspace got automatically applied to this virtual machine also. And even if you just wanted one metric, because of the workspace had the IIS and the custom logs, that would same apply to the virtual machine, right? These were the limitations we had. And with the new agent, what we have is the data collection rule in middle. And benefit we get is that whatever we want to collect from the resources, we would dictate at the DCR level and then attach the virtual machine. In this illustration, we have virtual machine, Kubernetes cluster, or Azure Arc enabled server that are on-premises machines. They all will have the Azure Monitor agent that will install on them, and whatever data collection rule we have created that collects, suppose Windows event log. If we attach those virtual machines to this DCR, the agent will know what data needs to be collected, and then afterwards, if we have set up some transformations like modify the data, it will modify it. If not, it will directly send to the destination, and the destination can be log analytics workspace, event hub, or a storage account. And you can think this as a three-tier architecture. That is, number one, we have the source from where the data will originate. Then we'll have the data collection rule. That is what we want to collect. And then we have the destination where we are sending the data to. And after the logs or the data are stored in the log analytics workspace. You can run now KQL queries to filter out your data, create alerts on them, or build dashboards based on those logs. So data collection rules are very powerful because they allow you to control monitoring data before it is stored. In large environments, this becomes extremely important when you want to scale the same setup for multiple resources. In the next video, I'll show you a practical demo where we create a data collection rule in the Azure portal and collect logs from a virtual machine and then send to the workspace, and then finally setting up alerting or dashboard on them. In the later videos, we'll also cover how we can set up for multiple virtual machines at scale using policy. So if this video has helped you in understanding data collection rule, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.